Alright, what's going on, guys? We got a bit of a sad video for today. I can't believe it, man. How could you do this to us, Riley? After all that we've been through, after all the moments that I shared with you through my computer screen, it has to end like this? It's just an unfortunate situation, really. So, I'm sure the majority of you probably know who Riley Reid is. I'll put some pictures up on the screen to maybe refresh your memory a little bit, but if you don't know who she is, I guess you could say that she's an actress. However, she doesn't typically star in movies that you would see at the movie theaters. She stars in movies where clothing is typically not required, you know what I'm saying? You usually watch these movies at home on your laptop or your phone maybe, and I gotta keep it real, I'm definitely a fan of her work. She's a very talented individual. However, this video still needs to be made. This is an issue of equality, and as the #1 representative of male equality in the world, I have a job to do today. So let's talk about what's going on. So yesterday, people started bringing up some of Riley's old tweets, and let me just say, for the most part, I hate when people do this. It's just so stupid, man, because most of the time, it's just jokes that were made a long time ago, and now it's 2019 and everyone is very sensitive and they get upset about these old tweets. Or it's like shit that someone said like 10 years ago when they were like literally a 12-year-old kid. Like, come on, man, I'm not gonna hold a grown man accountable for some stupid shit he tweeted when he was literally 12 years old. Like, come on, that's a bit ridiculous, right? However, these tweets from Riley are definitely in a different category. There's two tweets in particular that I'm going to be focusing on. There are some other tweets out there as well that I actually believe are jokes. We can just discuss those briefly because there is a difference between the two things, and I want it to be very clear here what the issue is. So let's just take a look at example number 1. At Izzy Rider XXX. OMG, I could rape you. You're sleeping in the bed that I'm looking at. Oh, I know you'd love for me to crawl in there. Winky face heart XO. Okay, so obviously it's a bit weird to, tweet at someone that you'd like to rape them. However, I'm pretty sure this tweet is a joke, right? The account she's tweeting at doesn't exist anymore, but if you look at the it's clearly like one of her porn star friends or whatever, so in my opinion, that's fine, right? Some people might have an issue with this. I understand where you're coming from, but in my opinion, if you're just joking around with your friends, you're not hurting anyone, I don't see an issue with what she's saying. So I just wanted to clarify in this video that I'm not talking about tweets like this, okay? I don't have an issue with jokes. However, the two tweets that I do want to talk about are both basically saying the same thing almost. However, I think having both of them helps reinforce the point that these tweets are not a joke. So here's the first one. At Epstein89, when I lost my virginity to a Brit that I raped, winky face, LOL, he said no 3 times and I just got on that dick. Heart, LOL. He's like, no, not now. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, but here's the second tweet. At MaddieB327, lost my virginity? Funny story. I raped a kid in a movie theater because I wanted to fuck, and he kept saying no. That's how I lost it. Alright, so obviously both of these tweets are referring to the same story, and I think we should just call it what it is here, right? She's admitting to raping someone, and from the tone of her tweets, it almost seems like she's proud of it. I don't know. She certainly doesn't think it's a very big deal. I mean, she's just broadcasting the story to people as if it's not a crime, as if it's like a funny story you would tell at a party or at dinner or something. It's like, oh yeah, remember that one time I raped that dude in the movie theaters? Yeah, haha, that was fucking hilarious, man. Good times, am I right, guys? Like, haha. Hold on, man. Like, you're a bit too casual about this whole thing, don't you think? I mean, she doesn't seem to think that she did anything wrong here. And before we proceed any further, I have one final piece of evidence to add to this. She also goes into detail of this entire story on her personal blog. I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's not very family friendly, but there are a couple details that I would like to share. Oh, my virginity? This is a fun story. Alright, so I've been dating my 14-year-old boyfriend at the time, British kid named Clark, while I was 15, 2 weeks shy of 16. So she was basically 16 and the guy was 14. Kind of interesting if you add that piece of information to the story that she was actually basically 2 years older than the guy. Also, let's check out this part right here. I asked him yet a third time, hoping he'd give in, but standing his ground, he denied me. Well, I guess in my book, no means yes, because his boner didn't turn me down. Okay, first of all, just because a dick is hard, that does not make it an invitation to hop on. Sometimes your meat just be getting hard for no reason, you know, that shit got a mind of its own, you know, you don't even want it. You know, you be sitting in the middle of math class doing homework or whatever, all of a sudden, your shit's hard. I mean, you didn't even mean for it to happen. There's no reason for it to be happening, but what do you know? So, regardless of that fact, no does not mean yes. Actually, in fact, no means no. That's why it's called no. I mean, just imagine the roles are reversed and it was a 16-year-old boy and a 14-year-old girl. I don't think you would be describing it as a fun story anymore. I think people would look at the situation a little bit differently. I don't know. Also, I just wanted to mention this as well. She has deleted all of the tweets and deleted the blog post as well. So that's definitely not a good look, I would say. Not really something an innocent person would do. More so something that someone who is trying to hide something would do, in my opinion. But yeah, that's definitely relevant information. Now, before we go any further, let me just address the elephant in the room. The answer to the question is yes. I have to keep it real here. Yes, I would let Riley Reid, quote unquote, rape me if she wanted to do so. In fact, Riley, if you're watching this video, let me know, you know, hit me up. We could even go to the movies, you know, that's where you feel more comfortable, you know, doing your raping or whatever. Hey, I'm down for it. Just let me know. Now, that being said, if I'm consenting for it to happen, then it's not really a rape now, is it? So that's kind of the issue here, right? I can only speak for myself. You can only speak for yourself. And for whatever reason, this guy from the story was not interested in Miss Reid, right? And that's all there really is to it. It's really a black and white issue. No means no, right? There's no excuses here. So she did commit a crime, right? Simple as that. But the biggest issue here for me, the reason this video is being made, is the inequality of the situation, right? I mean, we have this whole viral Me Too movement plastered all over social media, all over TV, everything, right? Everywhere you look, you see this Me Too stuff. They're coming at everybody, right? Nobody's safe, right? Some of the people did things worse than this story. Some of the people did things that are not even as close to as bad as this story, right? I mean, just recently, they came after Neil deGrasse Tyson because he allegedly touched a woman on the shoulder because she had like a solar system tattoo, and he like touched her shoulder to like look at the tattoo because, like, if you don't know who he is, he's like a huge like scientist who's like obsessed with space and stuff, so he was interested in the tattoo. So he literally touched her shoulder, and they're trying to like ruin this dude's life over that. You know, it's apparently a big deal. But here we have a woman straight up admitting to rape, and apparently it's no big deal, right? She doesn't think it's a big deal. There's no outrage about this. Like, where the fuck is the Me Too movement for this, right? You know what? Fuck Me Too. You know what it is? In 2019, we're on the hashtag Men Too, alright? Hashtag Men Too 2019. That's what we on right now, alright? I'm sick of the Me Too, alright? We need a movement for the men as well, alright? I'm tired of this fucking inequality out here. Where's the justice, man? I'm tired of living on veteran difficulty. I'm just saying. I mean, once again, let's switch the roles of this, right? I'm gonna give you the perfect example. Let's take my man Johnny Sins as an example, right? The most talented man in the universe. You know, you need him to be an astronaut, he's your guy. A doctor, he can get the job done. A cop, he's right there. Anything you want, he can get it done. Now, you guys all recognize Johnny, I'm sure, but if you don't, Johnny is in the same industry as Miss Riley. However, as you can see, he is a male. So I want to use him as an example because it is the perfect example. So let's just say the roles were reversed and Johnny tweeted out everything that Riley Reid has tweeted out, made a blog post about it, did all of it, everything the exact same. The only difference is that he is a man and Riley is a woman. Of course, he would never say any of that. I already checked his Twitter just to make sure, and that's why he's the GOAT. But let's just pretend for this example that he did say everything that Riley Reid said. And the only difference, as I said, is he's a man. What do you guys think would be the consequences for his actions? Would people just laugh it off? Like, haha, there goes old silly Johnny raping people again. No big deal, it's whatever. Because I highly doubt that that would be the reaction. In fact, I'm sure the Me Too movement would be all over the case. But when the genders are switched and it's a female that is guilty, I'm not seeing any outrage. So I'm just curious, like, what's going on here? I thought we were all about equality, right? Isn't that what we're doing in 2019? Equality? So where the fuck is the equality, right? I need that question answered. So that's pretty much it. I laid out all of the details. I think everyone has a pretty good grasp on the situation. You know, not the most family friendly situation for YouTube, but we gotta have some answers, man. Like, I'm tired of these females living on recruit difficulty. I mean, this might be a whole new level, man. If you're a female, apparently you can just admit to committing serious crimes and nobody even gives a fuck. They just laugh it off. I don't know, man. This shit's crazy to me. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.
Can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah.